Welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky, middle-aged men share insights on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports with Jason and Mike. We are Johnless again this evening. John is at the Oriole game. But we have the next best thing. We have a special guest from Locked On Ravens, special guest Kevin Oestreicher. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Appreciate you guys having me. And but was there anything that happened today in the Ravens sphere? I don't know. You guys might have to break some news to me. I'm not sure.
Well, you tell me, man. I was just sitting around playing with the kids today, and all of a sudden I get a text message that the Baltimore Ravens had agreed to terms with Jair Alexander. And why don't you tell us about it?
A move that, look, I had on their radar once he was cut. I never expected them to make a trade for him. The money was just going to be too complicated to work with their situation. But it was going to come down to Jair if he wanted to come play to win a Super Bowl and take a little less money, or go play somewhere, maybe get a bigger deal for a year and see what he can do. And he obviously chose the former there, where he's able to come into with loaded secondary that also has Marlon Humphrey and Nate Wiggins and Kyle Hamilton, Malachi. So you got 5 first-round picks in your starting secondary right now, which is awesome. And so the thing with Jair is the injuries. You know, he has only played in 7 games in each of the last 2 seasons. So you have to wonder if he's going to be able to stay healthy for a full 17 game plus hopefully a long playoff run here for Baltimore. But the beauty of that is that they don't need him to be the face of their secondary. They could have won the Super Bowl without him, but he certainly helps coming in. He's an all-pro player, 2-time all-pro, and he's a little bit more slight of frame. He had a shoulder injury a couple of years ago where he used to be one of the best run defenders in the league from the corner position, but he's kind of fallen off in that regard because of that injury. But still, he can mirror receivers really well. He's had experience going up against top receivers for his entire career. You know, he's just had Justin Jefferson in that division with Green Bay and Minnesota. So, look, I think it's a great move for them. It signals the final piece. And we know, guys, that injuries happen in the NFL. You know, every team goes through them. And so if Marlon Humphrey or Nate Wiggins has to miss some time, and, you know, knock on wood, they don't, but if they do, you can just throw another all-pro corner in there and Jair Alexander, and I don't think really miss a beat. So I think it's awesome.
Well, our last show on Sunday, we did a quick conversation on this, and the last figure I saw was upwards of like $16 million is what it was going to take. I mean, talk about a little less. I mean, we went from 16 million down to 4. And when you go down to 4 like that, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of other teams in, but I mean, that's like the Ravens' wheelhouse.
I think that this is why good organizations stay good. And it's a big reason why it's important to be a good organization, not just on the field and be competitive, but off of it as well. And we heard from Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show that the Panthers were interested and they were able to offer more money than the Ravens were. There were other teams that were involved in this, but that the Ravens and Jair, they had that mutual interest. And the fact of it is that, you know, he didn't want to go to a place where, yeah, he could have made a little bit more money, but maybe the guys next to him aren't as good. Or maybe there's dysfunction in the locker room and that impacts the play of everybody. And that effectively impacts the way he performs. And then that hurts his next contract. So the Ravens get deals like this because of the reputation they've built for themselves. And look, if you had told me this money number before he signed, I would have called you crazy. I would have said there's no way that they were able to get him on that price point, because he is still, when healthy, I think still a top 10 cornerback. And getting him at that price point is almost unheard of. So to me, the reason the Ravens are able to get him there is because of the fact that, you know, obviously the Lamar connection with Louisville is there, and, you know, you got to factor that in too. But this apparently had been in the works for a little bit. I'm actually curious to maybe know one day. I'm not sure we ever will, but I'm curious to know if Lamar knew something when he was up there on the podium on Tuesday speaking to the media saying, hey, bring him in, Eric. Maybe he already knew he was coming to Baltimore in the first place. But when the Ravens and Lamar have conversations, you know, they've called him a shareholder. They've called him a very important part of what they do. Some teams don't believe in that. Some teams say, hey, players are players, coaches are coaches, GMs are GMs, et cetera, et cetera. The Ravens value Lamar's opinion, and we see another example of that right here.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Lamar didn't have anything to do with what just happened today. But how does this move impact the long-term outlook of the Ravens cornerback room? Is this just a one-year rental, or could there be a future extension if he performs well this year with the Ravens?
An extension certainly could be on the table. Obviously, it'll depend what that looks like. We know the Ravens have a lot of other extensions and potential free agents they're going to have to wade through here and figure out who they want to keep and who they want to let go. If Jair plays well and he's looking for that, if he has like another all-pro year and he's looking for that like 4-year, $100 million deal, that he probably won't get that from the Ravens. But look, I think this benefits everybody, especially if the Ravens win a Super Bowl, because you get him for a year. And then if he does go off and sign that deal elsewhere, well, the Ravens are going to third-round comp pick, and we know they love their comp picks. So it's a low risk. In fact, I call it a no risk, high reward signing for them because of the player that he is. I'm not worried about them losing $4 to $6 million over a player that has the potential to be a top 10 player at his position, especially one that's so valuable. And we heard Marlon Humphrey speak about it at practice today on Wednesday, and Ozzie Newsome coined the phrase, and you can never have enough corners. And it's true. I mean, I'll never forget that 2014 Ravens team that had the three of us out there at cornerback because they had nobody else to play. I mean, it was Rashad Melvin and other guys. They had their entire room decimated. We saw the first half of the year last year where they struggled immensely, and that was more safety stuff than anything. But regardless, you want to be able to have as many guys in as you can. So for next year and beyond, I wouldn't be shocked if Jair comes back, but maybe does that come? Like, do you have to restructure Marlon Humphrey again to get him under the cap? Do you have to let an Odafe Owe go to re-sign Jair if he has a great year? So I think I'm not ruling it out, but if he has a great year and he wants that big money contract, it's 20-25 million per season, I probably would say Baltimore's not going to be in that conversation.
Well, and what does your gut say as far as if everyone stays healthy? Does this kick Marlon in the inside again? Does one of them get played at safety a little bit? Like, what are you hearing? What are you thinking?
I think, to me, I would expect them to play a little more big nickel this year. I would probably expect them to play more dime packages too. You're able to have multiple defensive backs on the field here. And I think the big part of people sometimes can get too married to the idea of just playing base defense, and it's exactly set in stone. The Ravens are not that team. They're going to rotate guys in. They're going to play guys all over the field. We know they like using guys as chess pieces, but much like we talk about the Ravens freeing up Kyle Hamilton and having him move all over the field, I think this move does that for Marlon Humphrey, where we know that Marlon can play at a high level in the slot, and they don't have like a pure slot guy this season. They've had the Arthur Millett's and the Tavon Youngs, and like that guy is going to be a slot corner, and that's it. They don't really have that top-of-the-line guy this year at that position. And so to me, I think that we're going to see a lot of Marlon there, a lot of Kyle there. We can see those guys rotate, but we also know the Ravens like those three outside corner rotations where they can just keep everybody healthy. I mean, I remember with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters and Jimmy Smith, or even further back than that, Brandon Carr, Marlon Humphrey, and Jimmy Smith. And they would rotate those guys in and out. Now, I think the question with Jair is he's an all-pro. And so what is his snap? You don't want to like have him. It feels so weird to call him depth because of how good he is. But with how Nate Wiggins showed he could play last season, with Marlon being Marlon, it gives you, I mean, Marlon said it's endless possibilities. And I couldn't agree more with that. So if Trenton doesn't play well, or if he's not the guy, or if Teddy Buchanan isn't ready to play next to Roquan, you're not married to it like you were married to having PQ on the field with him all those for the past couple of years, or at least the last 2 years of PQ's career, because PQ was that good. You wanted to play some more base because PQ next to Roquan was awesome. But you're not married to that idea anymore because PQ was gone and the replacement hasn't really gone the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, Kevin. So what does this mean? I mean, obviously, we've talked about where they could sign somebody here to fill out the gaps going into this year and kind of just put the final pieces to the puzzle. This feels like a cherry on top to me right now. But with that being said, with their remaining salary cap space, their ability to address any other needs that are on the roster, is there anywhere you think they still need to find somebody, or do you think they're pretty much done at this point? I know they're happy probably with the price point they found for Jair, and I think they probably have a little bit of money left. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's Brian McFarland over at Ravens salary cap, who doesn't he knows all things Ravens salary cap, and that's like the go-to guy. He said before this deal, the Ravens effectively had about $5 million in usable cap space. So they have around 18 right now, but Brian factors in the practice squad, any injuries. So it's effectively $5 million that they had to use there. So Jair would take up again that base being 4 million, and then the incentives could push it up to 6. I feel like this is the cherry on top. I mean, if there was another spot I could see them maybe adding at, it feels weird to continue adding to the secondary, but it could be safety, which with a guy like Justin Simmons, I probably rule that out now because I don't think you add another guy there. I know a lot of people still talk about the potential of adding Jadeveon Clowney or maybe just another edge guy, a vet edge guy. But I think they're honestly kind of set there too. And at this point, I don't have David Ajabo on my final 53 because they have so much there and he hasn't really shown enough for me right now. So you mentioned Adafe Owe, Kyle Van Noy, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, Adiza Isaac. I mean, you have already 5 guys plus a little bit more as well. If you want to keep a 6th, well, maybe it could be David Ajabo. We'll see. My sweet spot is kind of 5. So if you add Clowney to that mix, are you keeping 6 for sure? Are you getting rid of Adisa Isaac? That's really the only other place I could see them adding. I mean, at the guard spot, I know that is a question mark. I feel like they're just going to kind of roll with what they have there. Kicker, it feels like they're going to trust Tyler Loop to do his thing, even though he's kind of had a rough couple of days at OTAs and mini camps. But I think that's all natural. He's a rookie. He's tweaking some stuff. This is the time you want it. It's like spring training for baseball, right? You want to tweak that stuff now, get it down as opposed to the regular season. So I would say this is probably the last big move I expect the Ravens to make. But, I've said that before and they've surprised me. So you can never rule it out with DaCosta and company here with the Ravens.
Well, I listened to your show earlier today, so I know the answer to this question, but not everybody else might know. I get scared to death when teams win the draft or when teams are the paper Super Bowl champion, because everything looks great now. But I mean, we're still about a month away from training camp or so, a little more than that. And so what are your thoughts? I cringe when I say this, but what are your thoughts so far on how you think they're going to fare this year?
Yeah, well, I'll repeat what I said on my show, the live show today, where, look, I think that the Ravens, to me, with this addition, are my favorites to win the Super Bowl, but I'd be foolish to crown them right now because obviously it's how the games are played, right? I remember, NFL crowned the Browns offseason champs for like 4 years in a row, and we all know how that went. It was a disaster. Now, I don't think it's going to go that way for Baltimore, but you at least have to put them in that upper echelon, like right along. And Philly's roster, despite losing guys, is still very, very good. And I think that you have to put them in that tier. Are they my favorite to win the AFC? I swore 2 years ago I would never put them in that conversation until I saw them beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. So I'm not gonna put them there. But I do think the roster is better than Kansas City's. But we know that this goes beyond the roster. You're right; it goes beyond the paper. Where Kansas City has that experience. Buffalo is going to be a tough out as well. They obviously beat Baltimore last season, and they're a team you're going to have to deal with. So I think that with this and what Marlon had to say about them wanting to get back to having the Ravens be that defensive team, even with Lamar Jackson and how good that offense is in the fold, they're my favorite right now. But favorite and actually doing it are two very different things, because we can talk all we want about how good a team looks on paper. You could get to week 1 and all of a sudden guys aren't sure of their roles or injuries happen or something that you don't expect ends up popping up. So I love what they've built. I think Eric DaCosta's done a great job. And part of that is they didn't really lose that much in the offseason. I mean, Patrick McCary, Brandon Stevens, like these are guys that you're probably not even going to really miss all that much. I think Stevens was an addition by subtraction considering the lack of ball skills and the error that he had. You've brought in guys. Malachi Starks is an incredible tracker of the ball in the air. Jair Alexander, same thing. If we were talking from last year or from like last offseason into the year last year, it'd be different because they lost a lot of guys last offseason. They had an opportunity to only improve. They have done that. I think they've upgraded nearly everywhere. And again, you got to put the pads on. You got to play the games. But I like the spot they're in right
now. Well, I would agree with you. As painful as it is to try to make that prediction, I definitely agree with you. But I know you were in a hurry today because you had a tough day. Very
Hustling and
busy with the
bustling, yeah.
Patriots. Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Kevin. It's always a pleasure. And again, we'll hope to talk to you as we get closer to the season.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I appreciate you having me. Thanks so much. It was a blast.
Sure. And plug yourself. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me over on Locked On Ravens. So I do 5 days a week of Ravens coverage over there, plus more. We had some of that plus more today with the live reaction to Jair Alexander. So we'll go live after every Ravens game. We do the lives after every piece of big news. So you can subscribe over on YouTube or in audio form. You can follow along wherever you get your podcast. It's the same show, both in audio and video. I do some writing over at the Ravens Wire USA Today, covering the Ravens, and also do some work over at Bleacher Report as well. So busy, but I love it. It's a grind and it's great.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, Kevin, and you have a great evening.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Well, that was fabulous. Kevin, always
That
a pleasure
guy.
talking with
I
Kevin.
love that guy.
Absolutely. And I felt bad because, again, he was on everything today. He was updating everything, and he's a busy guy. So, good news and the Flock's got going on, man. I'll tell you, but before we get into the disaster that it seems to be the Oriole game, we should just finish off talking about the Ravens. I was telling you, Mike, beforehand that I was just sitting around. I was doing stuff with the kids, and then I got the text message. As soon as I saw where the text message was from, I was like, oh boy, I have a feeling what this could be. And I was surprised when I saw the numbers. Like I was telling Kevin, we went from 16 million on Sunday to 4 million plus 6 million, like 2 million extra in incentives. So, to me, it's a steal, Mike. Oh, Mike, are you there? I think Mike is frozen. All right. Well, like I was saying, it's definitely a positive situation going from $4 million for 1 year to $6 million. If he hits his incentives, and I hope to God he hits his incentives, because if he does, I guess he is, this team could take off. So, what does it do for me? It really gives them that edge at corner when you play teams like the Bengals, who are going to air it out with Higgins and Chase and the rest of the guys down there. And then you go and you play the Bills, where you have Josh Allen running around. Anytime you can bring in a lockdown corner like that, it gives you that everyone else a lot more time. It gives your defensive ends, your linebackers, everyone else a better chance to go to to get to the quarterback. So any chance you can speed things up, that's great. So big fan of that. I think it could turn out to be one of those underrated moves, because everyone expects it to get to the point where, it could be a disappointment if it doesn't work out. Well, for $4 million, it's kind of like the D-Hop signing. For $6 million, not a big deal at all. So I'm glad to see it, and really look forward to that. Now moving on to our next segment here, and I guess I am flying solo. Mike says his power went out, and I don't know and John's still at the baseball game today. We were going to talk O's, and the Orioles, they came out like they were shot out of a cannon tonight, and it was 8-0. They spotted Trevor Rogers, and he returned the favor by not being able to get out of the third inning. And currently, it really hurts to say, it is 8-8 in the bottom of the sixth inning. And it hurts me. And Mike is back. Oh, hello, Mike. Good to see you.
Dude, the lights went out. My power was gone. I'm yelling to Julie, save me. And she's like, well, the power went out. Like, apparently we're having some storms here in the area. But
okay.
I left you all alone on Jason Island, but I'm sure it was great.
Man.
But you just say the Orioles are 8-8.
Yeah, we can swing back to the Ravens and talk about that to finish it off. But yeah, right now it's 8-8 in the bottom of the sixth. They have Dominguez in with a runner on first for Tampa with 2 outs. You're using your high leverage relievers to get out of this, but at this point for me, it's all hands on deck. And it looks like Gary Sanchez just Caballero at second trying to steal, so they got out of the inning. So that's good news. I guess, yeah, we can finish up talking about it's if they get out of this game, I'm okay. Who cares that they blew the 8-run lead? Let's just move forward. You have a series, and at the very least, you split a series. But if they lose this game, Mike, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, to have an 8-0 lead spotted and to lose that is devastating. I mean, even if we were playing, poor baseball like we were at the beginning of the year, it would be devastating. But to be kind of playing better baseball now and have that kind of situation occur will be even worse. Especially we were feeling good about Trevor Rogers. I think the last time he hit the mound, and we were talking maybe he should have a spot in the rotation. He gets his chance here tonight, spotted an 8-0 lead and can't throw strikes, keeps getting behind in counts, and keeps giving the Rays opportunities after opportunities to put more runs on the board. That's just unacceptable, honestly. Being spotted an 8-0 lead, you should be able to pitch in the zone. You should be able to move the ball around. You should be able to do things as a starting pitcher. But very disappointed in the way this game has unfolded, since I saw we had an 8-0 lead.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can, I don't care if they win by 1 run or 5 runs, 8 runs. I don't care. If they can get through this, like I said, and they can win it, deep breath, move forward till tomorrow. But again, it's a much harder loss than a normal loss. John is at the game actually tonight, and he is chiming in here on the chat, and he did say that their offensive defense has been terrible. Something to do with the lights, he said, messing with them. But I will tell you, Mike, the Rays are only a few games back of the Yankees, mainly because of the Yankees been playing terrible. But the Rays are not. They're 7 games above 500. But I cannot imagine Major League Baseball liking this team playing in a minor league ballpark or a spring training ballpark making the playoffs. Because this, outside in Florida in the middle of the summer.
Right. I just think the Rays are always in it, like every single year. If you look at the past 20 years, the Rays are one of the winningest franchises in the Major League Baseball because they do things the right way. And Kevin Cash always has those guys in baseball games, whether it's playing small ball, pitching well, developing starting pitching, running on the base pass, just getting guys over. They do all the little things. It seems like they might have one bad year every 5, but 4 out of 5 years, they're at least in the conversation when it comes to the AL East, or at least making the playoffs, especially with 7 playoff spots. So when you go down to Tampa, it's always going to be a struggle. And specifically, you add this ballpark into the mix, like you're saying, Jason, it's kind of small. So, if anyone's hot hitting home runs, it definitely makes a difference when it comes to the game for both teams involved. But if you're trying to showcase Major League Baseball, especially in a place like Florida where it's, usually the weather, it might be rainy, but at least it's sunny. You'd like to have a real baseball stadium there where they're, playing with real dimensions and they're playing in a, Major League Baseball caliber ballpark when you're broadcasting.
Yeah. And if you're going to be in Florida, it has to be a dome for baseball, just because of, if you're playing football or whatever, it's different. It's not the rainy season. Normally the rainy season here ends in the end of October, and then you're usually good as far as that goes. But like right now, we're used to having like once a day it rains, right? Well, right now we're getting storms every night at 11 o'clock or through the middle of the night. And it's just once a day. It's like clockwork right now. So again, playing outdoors in the heat, like Laureano hit a seed to right field. It was like a line drive that probably would have gone off the wall in Camden Yards, but it went out. And I was like, oh crap, for a 3-run homer. So balls that are carrying because of the humidity down here are not, I don't know how all their pitchers are doing as well as they are, because this place is crazy for that. So I don't know. It's still 8-8. Henderson's up with 1 out on the top of the 7th. So I'm hoping they can somehow get through this. But just to dial back for a second, Mike, to the Ravens, I had said just kind of what just cleared up what Kevin was saying, whatnot. I mean, to me, it really is it's one of those moves where it's just like the D-Hop move. It's a win-win. There's no loss there because what did we pay D-Hop? $6 million or something, and Jair Alexander could be $6 million. I hope we pay him $6 million because it means he met his incentives. So to me, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, if whatever they get out of him is gravy.
I thought I missed when I saw that text message. I thought I missed a number, like a one, like 14 million or 16. And I looked again. I'm like, that can't be right. So kudos to you, Eric DaCosta. You did it again. I'm not sure how. I don't know if it was Lamar working his magic, his his personality, his connection with Louisville, with Jair. I don't know how you got it done, but good for you. And I think Kevin hit a good point when he said, for Jair too, it's a good opportunity to get to a winning team and to really make an impression and to really win that next contract that he's looking for. Because let's say he goes to Miami Dolphins team, for example, where they don't win a lot of games this year. He's not really earning that next contract. He comes to a Ravens team, he earns his $6 million and they win a Super Bowl. Now he's set up for that 10, 12, $14 million contract that he's looking for down the road. So not only is it a win for the Ravens, but for Jair Alexander, it's a really good situation to be in, surrounded by really good talent and a chance to go ahead and win a Super Bowl as well.
Yeah, and it's funny because you do have teams out there in all sports that they like once they figure that window is at a certain point, they're going to go for broke, right? They're going to do whatever they can do to try to win that year. But for me, these signings of D-Hop and Alexander, okay, great. I mean, but they're not going for broke because they're not very expensive contracts. It makes a ton of sense. So if they did want to bring, it's funny because Kevin was saying about like the capologists were saying that they have $5 million really to play with. Well, that's before they start extending guys because Linderbaum's getting extended. Like they're going to figure out the Hamilton thing. They're going to figure out a Lamar. Like all of this, there will be room so that they can make in-season moves because the last thing you want is to be handcuffed in season because as great as this depth signing is now, Mike, you know what happened a few years back when the Achilles were going left and right and we were left with no running backs.
Yeah, I like it better when we don't get hurt. But I think the biggest thing for me too is if you take a look, we always look at day one of free agency and we're like, man, the Ravens just don't do anything. And we just sit there and we kind of know that's how they play. And then you look at today and you look at the offseason, you look back, you're talking about D-Hop, and now we're talking about Jair Alexander. Think about the pieces they added quietly compared to some of these other teams that just spend so much money at the beginning of free agency, and they are, so quote unquote, the winners in free agency after day 2 or day 3. Let it play out. That's what I love about Eric DaCosta. He's not just going all in on day 1 of free agency. He lets the market play out. He knows that there are other players that might be available, and they play the waiting game, and look what happens. And more times than not, they end up making a move like this towards the end of the offseason that ends up, boding well for the team. Now, we don't know what Jair is going to be like. Is he going to play 7 games or is he going to play 17 games? We're not sure. But like you said, Jason, with the secondary that they have already, even if he gives you 10 games, I mean, it's just gravy on top of a really good secondary. You go ahead and upgrade there, and Awuzie doesn't have to play quite as much, and it makes everybody better. It makes everybody better in that secondary, and it only strengthens a strength for the Ravens.
Well, it reminds me a couple years ago when the Ravens signed Arthur Millette, and all the Pittsburgh fans were like, he's terrible, you can have him. And the way that they used him and played him, I mean, he was a borderline all-pro in the slot spot. I don't say all-pro, a Pro Bowler. And, I mean, he really helped them out. And then he was injured last year, kind of got exposed a little bit with the change in the defense. But it's stuff like that. And what I'm getting at is that when you say maybe he'll play at least 10 games, well, I hope they're the last 10 games of the season. And I hope that they use him wisely early on. And John Harbaugh, as he's gotten older, as he's coached more, I mean, he used to be this like what I says goes type guy, like pads on everybody, hit the crap out of each other. It's not like that anymore. he protects his veteran guys. So I'm hoping that that's the case with some of these guys. They have their rest days, especially with him, because you're signing this guy. So again, anything you get out of him is gravy, but we're a better football team with him on the field than if he's not on the field.
Jason, just one quick question for you. I know Kevin hit on this briefly, but given that Alexander reportedly turned down more money elsewhere, right, to come to Baltimore, how significant do you think the Lamar Jackson factor was, and the fact that the team has Super Bowl aspirations in kind of sealing the deal with this guy?
So, I mean, to me, apparently him and Lamar are very close, and it doesn't hurt. I mean, to have somebody on your side like that, I think the Super Bowl, like blaring right there in your face, is also probably the main catalyst, or maybe it's 50-50. I don't really know. But I mean, you go to Carolina, who I'm very high on Carolina, but I'm not high on them to win the Super Bowl this year. I think they're going in the right direction, right? Well, do you want to be a part of that? Or, he could have probably worked something out and stayed in Green Bay and made the playoffs, maybe got closer, but he knows that this team is ready to compete for a Lombardi, and they are almost every year. So I think that with the factor, I mean, this might sound like a cop-out, but it's kind of 50-50. And I think Lamar just saying, look, this is a great place to play. They take care of you. Like, you should come. I don't know if that answers.
I mean, there's a country song that's heads Carolina, tails California. So I don't know if maybe Jair flipped a coin and said, you know what? I don't know what to do. California is not an option. I'm going to Baltimore. Let's do that instead.
Well, you also have to remember, oddly enough, but this doesn't really help him for making a decision to come to Maryland. But taxes in Maryland and taxes in California will kill you. But taxes in Maryland also hurt. So I guess none of the Florida teams were interested because he could go down there and not have to pay state income tax.
Two things that are certain in life, right? Death and taxes. That's what they say.
Unless you live in Florida, and then you only have to pay federal taxes. But yes, they are still certain.
You don't die in Florida? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, yeah, that's where everyone comes to die. That's where you come. Not everybody, but there's, we have
right before that. Yeah, I get it.
We have a whole part of Florida that's like heaven's waiting room. It's a good time, let me tell you. It's like going to the pepper mill in Towson, It's like you walk in and everybody there is like 70 and older and got some weird cough going on and all this stuff. So we just jumped in with Kevin and we started hitting the ground running. So didn't even get to see how everything was going. So was today I know you had a celebration, end of school celebration. Are you done? Are you free?
So I watched the students exit today for the last time for the 2024-2025 school year. And we waved them goodbye. And 20 minutes later, I found myself at a nice little happy hour at a little pub in Bel Air. It was beautiful. There was a realtor and I think a title company that bought the first 2 drinks free for all of the teachers in the Harford County area, which was awesome. So a couple little tokens I used. Yeah, it was awesome, man. So I partook there. And then our school has a end of the year party that one of our teachers kind of helps rally and put together. And that was at Route 24 Ale House, which is in Bel Air. And so we skedaddled over there and had some crab dip, crab cakes. We talk about that on the old podcast, but I love me some crab dip and some chicken fingers, some wings, and had a couple more beverages. And now here I am feeling good podcasting with you, my friend.
Oh, excellent. Well, that is.
How about you? How's granddad life?
Oh, granddad life is fabulous. Yes, for all of you. My grandson was born. He is ginormous. He was like 7 pounds, 14 ounces. Weston Anthony Grebe. So yes, he's here. He doesn't seem 8 pounds though. I can tell you, like holding him, I'm like, oh, this is great. He is it's like 2 pounds compared to carrying my 50-year-old son around all the time. He's nothing. I love it. But yeah, grandpa life's good. I can see that John is still hanging in there at the game. It is still 8-8 in the bottom of the 7th. And it looks like we might walk a guy. It's a guy on second. Yep, Brandon Lau looked like he was pitched around. So we'll see how this turns out, Mike. I'm starting to worry a little bit. I don't want this would be a bad loss.
I don't know that I can talk you off the ledge based off what I've seen this year, but I'm a little disappointed that there was no work into the name Michael or Frisky or somewhere in that Weston thing that you had going on there. But you know what? There's always other kids.
Yeah, that's true. We could try round 2. We'll see. And I mean and again the baby lives here with his parents. So he still lives at home. I mean he's been a couple days in this world. He's still here. He's still living at home. That's fine.
That's good work.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the other piece of news I have here, I got a text message a little later in the day, and I don't think it's 100% confirmed yet, but the Los Angeles Lakers are set to be purchased by Dodgers owner Mark Walters did you see it for how much money? Did you want to
get? A lot
guess?
of billions I saw. Is it like 10 or something?
$10 billion. $10 billion.
How many zeros is that? That's a lot of zeros.
That's a lot of zeros. Oh my gosh, what is it? 6? Is it 8 zeros or 9? It's 9 zeros, isn't it?
I don't know. It's like watching the German judges at the Olympics is all throwing all those zeros up there.
Taking a shot at the Germans. I love it.
Sorry.
Well, no. That's fine. That's what we're here for. But apparently the Buss family is keeping 15% in a minority ownership. Of course they are. I mean, it's like they're giving up their majority stake for $10 billion. And then they're keeping 15%. And apparently Jeannie Buss is staying in her role of being the general manager or the president? No, she's a governor. She's the governor of the Lakers.
Wow. They have a whole state. That's pretty cool.
They do. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's billionaires becoming bigger billionaires, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It really doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah, I don't know. The Lakers, again, you talk about the, top franchises in professional sports. The Lakers are mentioned up there probably with the Cowboys and, Manchester United and, some of those bigger franchises. $10 billion, though, seems like an astronomical amount of money. But I don't know what the going price, if we look at what the top franchises, in NBA are worth. Jason, have you looked at that at all?
I do think they are the top franchise, but I can check for you while we're doing this. I mean, it's the last one that sold. Didn't the Clippers sold for like 400 or 500 million? I don't remember.
Well, I think the Knicks are $7.5 billion.
Oh,
which is pretty crazy, at least as what they're rated. It says the Warriors at 9.4, the Knicks at 7.5. The Lakers were previously at 7. I think the Bulls were 5.8 and the Rockets 5.7. So you're thinking they're double most of, if not more than most of the NBA franchises as far as value is concerned.
Well, and you do have to remember they're always worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right? So if someone wants to get into the business, and I mean, clearly they're only going to go up, I mean, as inflation goes up, as everything goes there. So that if you buy it today, you could sell it tomorrow and probably make more, right? So to me, all that's taken into consideration. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers, all I know is the basketball is more exciting when the Lakers are good.
Well, yeah, and the moniker Showtime means something, right? Because you're out in Los Angeles. It's not just playing basketball. It's about entertainment. And everybody out there, you get, the famous actors and actresses out there on the sidelines, the singers, all that kind of stuff. So not only is it about the basketball, but it's just about the pageantry around it, more so than I think with other franchises. I know that happens everywhere. In New York, it happens, in some of these other major sports franchises, it happens. But particularly, you think, cameos, you think Los Angeles Lakers games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Really bad news. The Rays have scored 4 times, according to John, in the bottom of the 7th. Now it's only updated to me to 10-8, but John says 12.
Oh, I got a 12 on mine, Jason. He's right.
Oh my goodness. Yep, Josh Lowe. Oh, this is terrible.
I want to cry.
Terrible. Look at it. Oh my goodness.
How are you
Yeah.
up 8-0? What happened?
8-0. Tampa's since that 8 mark that we put up in the second inning, the Tampa's bullpen has just completely shut us down once Bradley came out of the game. Oh, that's terrible. Well, we try to move on. Otherwise, I might try to
They have
find
18 hits. We have 7.
all of ours were home runs. Earlier. Oh. All right, Mike.
enough.
Well, you have a new game for us to play, I understand.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let me get that queued up for you.
Oh boy. This will be exciting, Mike. I like new games. I like things.
So, the new game that I have for us tonight is called Ballpark Figures. So basically, the way this game will work is that I will give you a category, and you have to list the top however many I say without trying to miss. You get 3 strikes and you're out. And basically, you're trying to come up with everything on the list. So I have a top 10 list tonight of Ravens all-time leading tacklers. And I need you to come up with the top 10 all-time Ravens leading tacklers without 3 strikes occurring before you do that. So
Holy crap.
I'm going to allow you to think a little bit here and give me some names, and I'll tell you yes or no whether or not they're on the list. And we'll see how many you can get before you get 3 strikes, Jason.
Oh, man. All right. I feel like I need to pull up like a roster or something, but that's okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with Ray Lewis.
He is the number 1 all-time leading tackler with 978 tackles.
Perfect. Let's go with Terrell Suggs.
Second all-time with 600. You're on fire right now.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Ed Reed.
Ed Reed is third all-time with 507 tackles.
Okay.
But, I mean, you haven't really gone on a limb yet, but these are pretty good guesses, my friend.
Did I cover all the Hall of Famers? I think potential Hall of Famers. I think I did that.
Yes.
All right. Oh, man. Who else?
That's where it starts to get a little sticky. Let's see how you do.
All right. Let's see. What about Bart Scott?
He is number 9 all-time. So, yes, he is on the list. He has 314 career tackles.
Okay. Let's go with Jarrett Johnson.
Womp womp. I think that's strike 1 for you, my friend. He is 15th with 266 all-time tackles.
Okay. Let's see. How about...
So on this list, let me just give you a little help here. There's a corner. There's a linebacker. You got a corner, actually 2 corners, a linebacker, a defensive tackle, an outside linebacker. There's 3 corners. Okay, that should help you out a little bit.
3 corners?
Yep.
Chris McAllister?
Unfortunately, he is not one of the 3. He is 11th all time with 302 tackles.
Oh,
the corners that are here are a little more recent.
Of course. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Put your thinking cap on, my friend.
How old is the linebacker?
He's still active but unsigned in the NFL.
Oh my. Okay. Well, that doesn't really help me. Did I leave any safeties on the board? I didn't do that, did I?
I see no safeties in this top 10 besides Ed Reed, which you've already mentioned.
See, I'm scared to guess because I'm afraid I'll get my
Even if you get 3 strikes, you don't win. You're not playing against anybody, but we'll still let you keep guessing.
All right. CJ Mosley.
Yes, he is the
You got to
linebacker
be on there, right?
previously.
That's not
of.
active. Okay.
Yes, he is 5th all time with 387 tackles.
And how many cornerbacks? 3?
There's 3 left on the board.
Have I got any? I haven't got any of them yet, right?
No, none of them yet. And you're missing an outside linebacker and a defensive tackle.
A defensive tackle. All right. Ladarius Webb.
He is number 4 all time with 400 tackles. You have 6, Jason, of the 10.
How do you have so many tackles?
I don't think we were very good at certain points in his career. But he also played for the Ravens, for quite a long period of time as well. He played, 127 games, which, there's CJ Mosley in comparison played only 77 and has 13 less tackles than Webb.
So who played for a long time? Cornerbacks. Wasn't any of the 2000 guys, clearly, because it was.
Think a Super Bowl guy.
Jimmy Smith?
Yep, Jimmy Smith is 8th all time with 324 career tackles. You have 7 of the 10.
This one's going to be, because I can't remember how many years he actually, he played special teams. You get a lot of tackles on special teams.
So you got Webb and Smith. Adalius Thomas is 10 with 303 career tackles. So you got 8 of the 10. You got 1 strike left. Still need a corner and a defensive tackle. You got a lot of them here, Jay. The fate of the game lies in your hands.
Kelly Gregg.
Let me see your church hands. Just kidding. Kelly Gregg is correct. 359. Buddy Lee had 359 career tackles in 134 games for the Ravens. So you need one more.
And you said I missed a corner?
You are missing 1 cornerback. Correct.
I said Ladarius Webb, Jimmy Smith.
Yep.
One more. Did I say anyone else?
You have not.
I said McAllister, but that was wrong.
He was not correct. He was an X.
Church hands. Cornerback.
Go ahead, John. You want to answer? Try. What do you got over there? John's on the chat trying to chat from the horribly, executed Orioles offense here.
Is it anyone see, you don't have to tell me, but is it an active player?
I can't really say because I've given you a lot of hints and you only need one more. John just guessed Dwayne Starks.
See, if McAllister wasn't on that list in top 10, then Starks definitely isn't on that list.
Or unless he guessed Malachi Starks, which would be a really, really bad guess.
I'm guessing between 2 people. Do you want to know who they are?
Yeah, sure.
Samari Roll.
Okay.
And Marlon Humphreys.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Marlon has played longer as a Raven, so I'm going to go with Marlon Humphreys.
That is correct. He is the number 10 all time. So you've got 10 with 2 strikes. Now I gave you a little bit of help there.
Yeah,
so
you definitely did because I would not have gotten it.
I'll still give it to you. That's pretty impressive. Those are the top 10. So just to review, top 10 Ravens all-time tacklers: Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, Ladarius Webb, CJ Mosley, Kelly Gregg, Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith, Bart Scott, and Adalius Thomas. And Chris McAllister was just outside number 11. If you're wondering how Roquan is right now, he is number 19 with 216 tackles.
And what's 216? What is the what's number 11? How many?
Okay, so the top, to me in the top 10, Adalius Thomas has 303.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
number
So
10.
he could get in the next 2 years.
Sure.
Oh, man. Well, that was fun, Mike. I like that game.
Yeah.
Games. Oh, man. Well, I have some random questions for you if you want to play. I did, just to get your opinion on some things. I know you're not prepared, so I'm going to be like, you're going to have to, right off the top of your head.
False. True.
They're nice.
I'm trying.
I want to know, Mike, if you were sitting in so I'd say like around Labor Day comes around, you have your fantasy draft. You're sitting with the number 1 pick in your fantasy draft this year. As of right now, everyone, you know what's going on right now. Who's your number 1 overall pick?
I have not researched a thing, but I would have to say, I guess it would depend on the league, right? Too, and what kind of league it was. Is
Let's
it a
just say your
dynasty
standard, no, regular
redraft?
redraft league
Yeah.
with a PPR, a couple, like 3 receivers, 2 running backs.
Okay. I mean,
1
Saquon
quarterback.
Barkley, I would have to think would be, the way that comes straight to mind. I think he would be, after the year he had last year, Super Bowl champion. Obviously, sometimes those guys have a regression year, but I think to me right now he's the clear cut number one in my eyes. What do you think?
I like Jamar Chase. I've always been not always, but over the last like 4 or 5 years, I'm more of a receiver first type person. Like try to get as many of the top receivers as possible. And then because the running backs, I mean, last year was like an anomaly where you had these older running backs really perform. So to me, it's like, yeah, you can count on like everyone's saying that Saquon's going to have a step back. I hope not, because I did make a trade to get him in a dynasty league that I was going for. But I mean, look, I don't think you can get. Jimmy asked me this when he was on. He's like, "Who would you take number 1 overall?" And I said Jamar Chase, and he said not Saquon. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm more of a receiver of a running back, but anyone that wants to take Saquon first, by all means, they should go ahead and do it. Let's see, what other questions do I have?
Real quick, Jason, before we move on, like between Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, what makes is that quarterback? Is that why you make that pick?
It really is the resounding thing for me is that he's got a quarterback that if everything works out in their favor could be a top 3 MVP candidate at the quarterback position. And I mean, he's Jamar Chase has been the best receiver prospect coming out, I think, in the last 10 years. And his impact was met right as his rookie year, right? Neighbors caught a lot of passes last year and whatnot, but not the same type of receiver as Jamar Chase. Now, Jefferson might be the best receiver on the planet. However, like you said, his quarterback situation isn't as great as Chase. So to me, if flip a coin, I would go with Jamar Chase. But if I had number 2 pick, I probably would just take Jefferson right off the board.
I mean, if you look at Jamar Chase's numbers, 2021, 1,455 yards, 2022, 1,046 yards, 2023, 1,216, and then last year, 1,708 yards and 17 touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with that.
And his age compared to Jefferson, I want to say he's like 2 years younger ish.
So Jamar Chase is 25. He was born in 2000. Let me see. Justin Jefferson. They played together, right, at LSU or no? He's 26.
Yeah.
He's 26. He was born in 99.
Right.
His birthday was 2 days ago.
Happy birthday, Justin Jefferson.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of those guys. And then if someone wants to sprinkle Saquon in there, by all means, that's fine. I mean, it's for any of you guys out there that do play fantasy sports, or new to it, I suggest that everybody should play during football season. It makes the game so much more fun to watch, whether it's a family league or whether you want to go out and be a little more competitive and whatnot. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but if it used to be a game where whoever had the best running backs, like the game was controlled by the running backs, and over time it's changed to really benefit the receivers. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that goes. Now let's see, Mike, what other fun questions do I have? Mike, how is your fantasy baseball life going?
I don't know. All right. Let's just talk about that for just a minute. So, number 1, I had 1 win the last time I checked, and obviously wins are by week. So, I've probably been playing this league, I don't know, 10 weeks. I don't even know, 15 weeks. I have no clue if I've won another game. I tried one time to drop somebody and add somebody, but I think somebody else got to him. And then I just have a short attention span for baseball. So, additionally, A colleague of mine allowed me to use, I don't know if this is illegal or not, probably, their ESPN Plus account. So I've been logged into their account to get all the different features that ESPN Plus has. So I
Nice.
also don't have my ESPN account readily available to check my fantasy team at this point.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
too lazy to log out and log in, I think, part of the time and not forget this guy's username password. So there's the reality check of the situation. But Jason, how am I doing?
You are 1-11.
Okay.
You have lost 6 straight weeks. You are
How many
you-
inactive players am I playing? How many guys on the DL are currently on my team?
so you and I were playing each other a couple weeks ago. I've won 6 straight weeks, right? But you and I were playing a few weeks ago, and the only reason why I beat you is because you have Alex Bregman in your lineup, Jackson Merrill in your lineup. They're both on the IL for everybody that's paying attention. Yeah. But otherwise, you would have beat me because I had a really bad week. But yeah, I mean, I have a new lease on fantasy baseball personally. Just I'm only in I'm in 3 leagues because I'm in Connor from Locked On Orioles. I'm in a league with him, which I am winning. So that's kind of fun. He did a fantasy baseball league, but he did like 8 different leagues, and then the winner of each one plays against each other based on their points. And I have a crap ton of points right now, but yeah, I mean it's fun. I thought everybody, I thought maybe you'd be a little more active, but I understand. You know, life happens.
I thought I'd be a little more active too. Unfortunately, I just struggle with baseball. I know it's a long season and I should be. And I knew that Alex Bregman was on the IL, but there's no urgency with me when it comes to this league. And I don't understand the difference between that and the NFL, but I just don't feel the same way about it.
I mean, the NFL is a little different. You know, there's less games, and then on that day, it's like there's a channel designated just for those games, so you can focus only on that one day a week. And it's like for me, I mean, I said this on the show before, like I was so burnt out after football season this year that I just took like a month and a half away from all of it.
Yeah.
And then I started focusing my time on baseball. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that goes. Let's see. What else do we have, Mike?
Hopefully it's not fantasy related because I can't give you many good answers.
Oh, let's see. I don't know. Let's give you a good one here. Tell me, gun to your head, you have to decide right now who's winning the No, I'm kidding. I think you'd be better off trying to guess your starting lineup of your fantasy baseball team. You know, you might have better luck with the WNBA question. I don't know.
What do the kids say right now? 6'7". I don't know what's going on. I have nothing.
Oh my goodness! All right, so where are we right now? June 18th. Based on how the season's gone so far, who are your two? Who's your American League and National League pennant winners? Who's playing in the World Series?
Oh, I like that. Let's see. American League. Whew, that's a tough one. I would say Tigers. The Tigers just have that it factor right now. I feel like the Yankees would be my runner-up, and then everybody else is kind of just chasing it, kind of in the middle of the pack with that. So I would say Tigers, and then National League. I don't know. You kind of have the Dodgers, obviously there. The Padres are always intriguing to me. The Cubs are playing really good baseball. You got the Phillies and the Mets in the NL East. So let me just say I would go I think I just stick with the Dodgers because of their depth in their lineup and in their starting rotation. And Ohtani's coming back, on the mound. I'd say Dodgers and Tigers. How about you?
The thing about the Dodgers, why it's going to be kind of, I mean, they will address whatever they need come the trade deadline. So if there's something they feel like they need now, let me just break this down real quick.
Just like the Orioles, right?
Oh my gosh, please. This was supposed to be therapy. And I'm sitting over there and I'm reading Don't Kill Myself books. Okay.
I thought you just got those for some light reading.
I glanced at it. All right. So just so you know, the Cubs, the Mets, and the Dodgers all have the same number of wins right now. It's very exciting. I mean, this summer could be really cool. I love the idea of the Cubs. I really do. I think their pitching might catch up with them, but the Mets are exciting too. And then they have the Phillies, who are only a game back. So it's like a game and a half back. No, one game back. Pardon me. So it's and then the Central, yeah, the Cubs are they're 6.5 up on Central. Yankees, not impressed. Not impressed. I'm afraid they could be going through what the Orioles went through. They started last year. They started off well, and now they're coming back to the pack. I like the idea of the Tigers. Houston, though, Houston and the Yankees have the same record. So what's that say? Seattle's got that sneaky pitching staff. Texas is only 6 back. I'd say that I like the Tigers and the Cubs, just because I think the Dodgers are the easy answer. I think the Tigers and the Cubs. So Fritzy, if you're listening, there you go. We just cursed your team, so they're not making it to the World Series. I'm sorry to hear that.
I just think you like forest animals, but or jungle creature. You just like those mammals. But you know what? The one thing I'd like to say real quick is that the Orioles lost 12-8.
Dude, come on.
So,
like, I can't. Like, I told you, like I said at the beginning of the show, if they win, who cares that they blew an 8-run lead? But they blew an 8-run lead, and I care now because they lost. It's terrible.
You have a chance to win the series if obviously you have a chance still to split the series, which is my prediction in the show on Sunday, but you had the split in your hands with an 8-0 lead in the second inning, and you just blew it. And now you have to come out and play really well tomorrow and regain any momentum because you just completely lost it in that kind of game. It's so frustrating to be an Orioles fan sometimes.
Oh, it's not good. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough loss. My next random question for you before we have to move on here. Pick me a Super Bowl. Well, I know we did this a couple weeks ago, but now some things have changed. Some things have gone on. 2 Super Bowl participants, please.
Man, this is head versus heart with the Ravens. I feel like they have the best roster on paper. We talked about that. But they can't seem to beat the Chiefs or the Bills in the playoffs. And then if you think about the NFC, you have the defending champion Eagles. You have the Lions, who were really good 2 years ago and played well again last year, and they're still a good team. The Niners, are they going to bounce back from a rough year? So that's another NFC team that's pretty good. Are the Packers for real? We'll see what they look like. Any of these younger teams, up-and-coming teams, like are the Bears going to finally turn it around? Like you said, Jason, are the Panthers a team primed to play well? Is Baker Mayfield going to break through? There's so many questions. The AFC comes down to, I feel like, Bengals, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. So I would say right now, Ravens have the best roster of all those teams. And then NFC-wise, if you're going chalk, I'd say Eagles just because they're defending champions. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Lions in there. What do you think, Jay?
So, it's hard to ever bet against the Chiefs, right? No matter what, just because they always seem to navigate themselves through whatever they have to. And I think a team like the Chargers are going to be a lot better. I think the Broncos are going to be better. So that division might beat the crap out of each other. It might be the first year the Chiefs actually don't win that division, but they come in the back door of the playoffs. Who knows? I think the East, you have like the Dolphins coming in last potentially, because I think the Jets will be improved with Aaron Glenn there. And I think the Patriots will be better. I still think the Bills run away with it, but it'll be more competitive this year. So, which I don't think is going to be as competitive is I don't think the AFC North is going to be as competitive. And because of that, I do think the Bengals are going to be a pain in the ass. I really do. They always are. But that move that they made today by bringing in Alexander, that's almost to me like, how do we take care of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? this is what we do. So we bring in more depth in that position. So I like the Ravens. And I said it a couple weeks ago. I like the Eagles, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Commanders. So again, I'm going to say Commanders and Ravens in the Super Bowl.
So if you
That's
say
my
Commanders, tell me, I mean, honestly, that tells me that you think that Jaden Daniels isn't going to have that second year slump. He's going to have that Lamar kind of second year.
Then, like last week, you guys were talking about that, and Jim was saying that there's a sophomore slump, and the sophomore slump could be it's different when you have a running quarterback, because when one thing starts going wrong, you always have something else. But like Stroud had a bad sophomore year, right? But he's not a running quarterback, right? And so when you struggle with your arm and when you struggle throwing, that's your game. So if guys aren't separating or whatnot, that's what you're depending on. But if all else breaks down and you can run like Lamar can run and Daniels can run and Hurts can run, you have that in your bag. And I mean, they went out and got Debo. They got him more weapons offensively. The defense was already very solid. The run game, I think, is only going to continue to improve. Who did they bring in? The seventh rounder, Mikulski, Merritt or whatnot. That's one to watch out for. Fantasy wise, maybe not redraft, maybe a deep dynasty stash, but I think having a defensive head coach who's going to want to control the game by running the ball is also going to help things. But you have like Kingsbury, who is who's a genius as far as on the offensive coordinators go, is only going to make Daniels better. So yeah, I do think he comes out. And I mean, they were one game away from the Super Bowl last year. They just lost 3 times to the Eagles. So I don't know. That's what I think. I'm going to go with that.
I mean, It's hard to argue with Eagles and I mean, they were the 2 teams left in the NFC last year, so we're not really going out on a limb there. And I like the point you made, Jason, about kind of diversifying with a running quarterback. It kind of magnifies when you have an all-throwing quarterback, right? Where if you're not playing well, it's just one aspect of your game for somebody who's a running quarterback, but it's your entire game if you're just someone who chucks the ball around the field. It's almost like putting some money in the stock market and putting some money in real estate. And if one of them goes bad, that's okay because you still have that other thing going for you. So it's like with a running quarterback, you just have more options. It makes it that much more dangerous.
Diversification, Mike. That's what the runners can do. So what can Jaden Daniels do for you? Yes. So no, I'm big on them this year. I'm also real big on Jaden Daniels fantasy wise. He won me a couple leagues last year. So big fan. All right. So do you have anything else you want to discuss before we do our blast from the past?
Yeah, just real quick, nod to you picked the Panthers, I believe, for the NHL for Stanley Cup Finals. I thought, like I said, my bet was on it going 6 or 7. I swear I thought it was going to go 7. But kudos to Florida. Like I watched them in the last 2 or 3 games, and they are just flying around the ice, making play after play. And it's not just the beautiful plays; it's the scrappy plays. It's just they were always in the right position. Have a guy like McDavid on the other side in Edmonton, and he's making these moves, and you're like, and there's always someone there. Additionally, they're just nonstop. There's no break. There's no mental break. There's no physical break for Edmonton. And you could tell it just wore on them as the series went along, and they could not keep up with the pace of play of the Florida Panthers. And Florida just kept throwing stuff at goal, and they played really well. I know John thought that McDavid would win the Conn Smythe, even if the Panthers won, and that was not the case. I believe it was Bennett, who was a forward for the Panthers, who won the Conn Smythe and scored a ton of goals in the playoffs and 5, I think, in the finals. So it was a really fun to watch finals. There were a couple overtime games where I just couldn't turn it off. Like I stayed up later than I should have to watch, and probably should have gone to bed so I had some energy in the morning, but I could not turn the TV off because of the pace of play.
Yeah, and it's I mean, who knew Florida, down here, Florida. 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups have come from Florida. We are the hotbed for hockey. Children are outside playing on the ponds every day after school.
That sounds dangerous in Florida.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. There's things
Watch out
that
for
live
them
in there that are
gators.
about 6-7 feet long. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. Let me tell you.
I
But
think
no,
Florida and I think ice hockey. That's what I
right.
think.
It's so funny, but they, Tampa won 2 in a row. Like Florida won 2 in a row. There was a little lull in between there. So, I mean, I know you were talking about Bennett there. He was I caught our friend Rob from the Rob Show up in Boston, and he was talking about Bennett. He was a Bruin, and I guess they got him during the trade deadline or off season. And he said he was just going on and on about him and how he's like hoping that he'll be a free agent, that he comes back to Boston now that Boston got a pick for him too. So who knows? But yeah, for sure. I'm glad you touched on that because I did want to talk about that. That was a great series. And it looks like right now Oklahoma City are up 3-1? Is that right? Believe
3-2.
3-2. Pardon me. So game 6, and yeah, I picked Oklahoma City from the beginning. I'm not sure. I think you went with the Pacers, correct?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think John did.
But I'm scared.
Too.
I'm
no,
scared.
John won the Thunder as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a team like that, man, it's like I said from the get-go, it's if you don't stay hot and like you basically have to win right away, win a couple games right away, and put all the pressure on OKC because I mean that everyone's waiting for the clock to strike midnight on you and turn into a pumpkin because they won some games in some crazy ways. So
But
it's
I
all
mean,
about
my
momentum.
biggest concern with Indiana is Halliburton being hurt. Like, I mean, he's their go-to guy in the clutch moments, and if he can't play with that calf injury, I mean, I really think that limits what Indiana can do. If they somehow can win at home in Game 6 and scrape that victory, I mean, that's kudos to them for even making it to 7 games. But I have a hard time seeing them winning 2 games without him. But if they do somehow win 2 games without him, man, that would be a story for the ages.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I don't see it happening, but if it does, who knows?
Yeah, he still wants to play. I mean, I wouldn't rule him out completely. The doctors, I mean, I don't think they want him to play, but you get to that point in the season, it's like you get your chance, you get your shot. How many opportunities do you have as a player to get to that point in your career, to the very top of the mountain? There's not many.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Like Dan Marino had his rookie year, his second year in the league, and that never came back. Happens. Same thing with Cal Ripken. Like you only get the opportunities, and you have to take full. You got to take a shot at it. If you can walk, if you can play, I'm sure he's going to try. Okay, so are we prepared, Michael, for Blast from the Past?
Yeah, and I think you said it was a free-for-all tonight, right?
It is. It's a free-for-all. We're doing whatever we want, Mike. You could choose the Ravens, the Orioles. I mean, you could do Canadian football, Blast from the Past. I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Favorite
Mike.
barnyard animals? Yeah.
Blast from the Past. Let's do it. Do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
Oh, man. I'm scared. I'll go first. All right. I picked an Oriole. All right, an Oriole. This one-time Oriole, was a notable major league player from 2004 to 2017. World Series champion in 2015. Let's see. In 2013, he achieved a career high in wins with 15. Let's see. Known for his durability, 5 seasons where he pitched over 200 innings.
Oh, crap. He was a Royal, so I can't remember who was on that staff in 15.
Yeah, right? Let's see. Recorded his first 2 career shutouts in 2013. In 2012 and 13, extended an unbeaten streak to a team record 18 consecutive starts, 10-0 with a 2.21 ERA from August 2012 to May 2013, breaking a Royals club record.
Poopy.
After being picked up by the Orioles in 2007, he became a key part of their rotation with solid seasons in 07 and 08 with a 3.7 ERA in 07 and a 3.63 in 08.
It's a poopy years, Mike.
I know. This might help you out.
Oh.
He was a first-round selection by the Cleveland Indians in the 2002 Major League Baseball draft. He had a strong collegiate career at Stanford University.
Oh my gosh, why can I not remember this guy? Lefty or righty?
Righty. In 2009, he represented Team USA in the 2009 World Baseball Classic.
Oh, this is going to piss me off. Why am I blanking on this guy?
Career-wise, he had a career ERA of 4.42, 91 wins, 109 losses, and 1,046 strikeouts.
And somehow he was... Was he a starter on the 14 and 15 teams for the Royals?
Yes, but he did not. Hold on. Let's see. He was a significant contributor to the Royals' success, including their back-to-back AL pennants in 2014 and 15. Made his first postseason start in Game 3 of the 2014 ALCS, and also started 2 games in the 2014 World Series.
Oh! It's not Jeremy Guthrie, is it?
It is Jeremy Guthrie.
I remember. You know how I remembered it? I just all of a sudden went to how pissed off I was in 2014. And I'm sitting there and I'm picturing the press conference where he's wearing the shirt that these O's aren't royal. And it made me hate him. Wait, he was with the Orioles for a while, though, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
You didn't say that, Mike.
I know. I was just trying. I mean, you do the things. You figure the guys out. I was just trying to play the cat and mouse game there for a bit.
Oh, man. Jeremy Guthrie. Wow. All right. So my feller played baseball. You ready? You got him? Okay. He played from 2012 to 2021, so 9 years. He played with the Mets. He played with the Reds, the Angels, the Royals, and he finished, the last team he played for was the Orioles. Okay. His record was 50 and 66 as a starting pitcher.
Oh gosh, I was thinking he was a shortstop. So that I got to reset. Give me the teams one more time.
Yeah, he's a Met, a Red, an Angel, a Royal, and an Oriole.
Okay.
And he's a one-time All-Star in 2013. And that year he had an ERA of 2.27. And he was 9-5.
What team?
With the Mets. And he was 4th in the Cy Young Award voting. He played for the Orioles in 2021 with a phenomenal record of 6-14.
Oh gosh.
And a 6.27 ERA. 2021.
Oh boy. 2021. Let's see.
In 2015, he won 13 games for the Mets with 8 losses with a 2.71 ERA. So he gets more wins and he doesn't make the All-Star team. Before he did.
So what years was he with the Mets?
From 2012 to 2018.
6 years with the Mets.
He was very good, by the way. Very good prime player.
Was it Matt Harvey?
Was Matt Harvey. I didn't even have to give you his nickname.
Batman.
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. It was one of the Batman guys, right?
Yeah, there you go. Well done. All right. Well, this was fun. No rules. Do what you want.
It's like
Mary,
Outback
you're-
Steakhouse. No rules, just right, mate.
Oh, tell me. It's fabulous. I love it.
No John to keep us under control. That was the thing.
I know. Do what you want, man. Oh gosh, we have who's listening to our show? Steve Sievers or Sivers.
Hi-
Pardon me if I
hi,
spelled it wrong.
Steve.
Hi, Steve. Really appreciate it. All right, and John was chiming in tonight. Oh, it was a lot of fun tonight. I like it. Let's see what else we missing here. Kevin, again, a thank you out to Kevin Oestreicher. And guys, if you want to get caught up on your Ravens, one of the best podcasts Mike and I listen every single day is Locked On Ravens with Kevin. I mean, he does a great job. You can also check out his articles with USA Today and some other places as well. But yeah, I mean, whenever something like that happens with the Ravens, we do like to reach out to them and see what's going on.
Yeah, and he has special guests like Kadri Ismail and Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan. So we'll have all kinds of guys on there kind of talking Ravens with him. And it's a great listen. So if you have, I mean, I think 30 to 45 minutes a day to listen, it's a great listen for Ravens fans out there.
Absolutely. All right, Mike. Well, anything else this evening?
Nope. I think that's about it.
All
That's
right,
going to
well,
wrap it up, right?
Yep. Why don't you take us home, Michael?
All right. I probably shouldn't be driving, but I'll try to take us home. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Dad Bods, Crap Cakes, and Sports. Thanks for listening along with us this evening. Don't forget, subscribe to us at wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. While you're at it, give us a follow and a review. It helps us out. We're spreading the good news about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes actions and bad sports takes. You can follow us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on Instagram and at dadbods crab cakes and sports on our Facebook page. If you have a question you'd like us to answer or topics you'd like us to cover, please hit us up at dadbodscrabcakeandsports@gmail.com. You never know, we're might just shout you out on the next episode. So until next time, keep rocking your dad bod, eating the crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Adios.